Hello everyone, how's it going? I thought I'd create one of these tags. It seemed to be a popular thing going around and a good way to actually reach out and discuss things with people. Obviously taking part in a couple myself and so is my buddy Cameron, so we're all good fun. Decided to make this more general rather than just horror, just on content creation as a whole and what might motivate people and trials and tribulations thereof and all the stuff that comes with it. So, trying to make it quite simple, 7 questions, and obviously I'll answer them first here myself. I'll put everything in the links that's needed, and then I'm going to tag a few people at the end, and hopefully get this spread about. Obviously, if you happen to come across this and you want to take part as well, please do, more the merrier. See if we can get this going, and maybe give people's audiences a chance to find out who's doing what's what and how you got here. So, yeah, modern age and I still use pen and paper, but hey, it's all about balance at the end of the day. Sometimes always staring at a screen and trying to get your thoughts isn't the best, so I like the combination of both. So anyway, first question is, what made you decide to become a content creator? I kind of fell into this all accidentally. Never woke up one morning and saw people on YouTube and thought, oh, I want to do that, or anything of the sort. It was back in 2012, 2013. There was a friend of mine, he had actually started a new show, and he was basically like reading out various stories and talking about the old age of like radio plays. So we were already friends and we were talking and stuff, and we actually played a few online games and stuff together. So when we started episode 1 and sort of got at it, I thought I wouldn't mind having some sort of input or help him out. So I started creating a few sound effects and a bit of an intro and sort of threw it in there. I've always been interested in what's behind the scenes, particularly like sci-fi, fantasy, horror, anything with special effects in. You've heard me talk about it many times before. Anyone that's been on this channel, but the modern day of CGI has kind of removed all the magic from movies. It's the same as magicians. It's a trick. You don't know how it's done, but there's still that bit of wonder, and I think that should be the case with movies. It's practical effects. That it's not real, but how they come about doing it is, part of the magic. So I've always been fascinated, and for some reason, Foley artistry is something's always been an interest, and how they come up with the sound effects and make things sound realistic. Because you know yourself, when you're out and about on a movie, nothing really sounds like it is. It's crisper, clearer. It gives more impact, where it might be more distorted in real life. So it's always interesting how that came about. So with that, I started both physically and digitally working on some sound effects. One thing led to another. A friend then started actually playing the old Graveyard Mansion radio plays, and these are from like back in the 50s. And to me back then, it was like it's nothing like you couldn't even compare it to today. You only had to listen to the radio, you had to tune in at a certain time. 9 times out of 10 they did it live, which is absolutely amazing. If you ever look at an old movies or showing how they did it, they'd have like a fish and they'd be slapping it in the front, and they'd have the guy in the corner of a booth, no bigger than somebody's bedroom, when they actually did this live and produced entertainment. To me, that's fantastic. It seems like stage plays and pantomime. To me, there's something stripped back about a lot of that, and you rely more on the performers. But anyway, yes, I waffle on. Everyone knows me, heard me talking, I tend to go off on a bit, so I'll try and rein myself in. But when he started performing these episodes, I thought it might be an idea to maybe try to do one of these and bring it into the modern age. So sourced the script, brought a few people together, and produced their first episode, and that's kind of how I got into it. Started to perform a segment for a podcast. Things went on for a couple of years, kind of bit of creative differences. I went out on my own, but people with me started a podcast, went on for quite a number of years, took part in other projects, just as you go on into this, you just fall further down a rabbit hole. Once you start creating content, it kind of becomes your thing, and it's not even about likes and shares, like these are small channels. It's all about the actual putting things together and seeing how it turns out and actually solving problems. Sorry, excuse me. If I wanted a particular sound or an effect on someone's voice or want something done away, that became a challenge as I learned how to do it. Initially it was audio, and then obviously the natural progression then was move into video, and then that brings with it a whole other set of challenges where you're creating intros, you're trying to find a way to visually tie up with the performance or the content you're creating. You're trying different ways to engage with the audience, keep the whole thing relevant, and that's kind of how I got into all this here. And 8, 9 years, nearly 10 years later, I'm still doing it, and hope to keep on doing it for quite a while to come. Right. Question 2. What has been your proudest accomplishment to date? I think the 2 books I've just published recently within the last year, The Ringmaster's Interview and Tales of Horror and Madness. I am not an artist. I have an artistic streak, but I'm not an artist in the traditional sense. And I've always struggled with how to creatively output that, if that makes sense. I never, the school I went to, particularly I noticed art class, if you weren't good at it straight away, that was it. You were left by the wayside, and the kids who could draw straight away were done. And it was all like, there's nothing inspiring. Me setting a bowl of fruit on a table and trying to recreate that, I don't care. I get the principle beside it. I know a lot of artists. This is not me panning them. It's just saying my motivations were different to someone else's. So that being said, like I've got into model painting, I've got into various different things over the years, just trying to find that creative input. I should bump in this microphone. So hopefully that doesn't change the sound too much. But actually, I do like storytelling. I always have. Apart from school, I never found a way, or never had the confidence or the idea. I was always hung up on must be original, can't be like anything else. But the truth of the matter is, and we all know this, every story's been told in some shape or form. The human imagination is, covered all the basics of shape form over the thousands of years we've been on this planet. From the cave drawings onwards, we've done it. The trick now is, it's the same as cooking. Every ingredient out there has been found and cooked and tried. It's how you put it together and put your own signature on it. Once I learned to let that go, I was able to actually put together some things very quickly, and working on a 3rd and 4th book and a trilogy planned. So I'm still doing it. This month's been pretty hard actually, with the lockdowns and everything else, and just been a bleak month. And creatively, I think that whole holiday break kind of messes with you, kind of takes you out of your stride. And then this month's kind of difficult trying to get back into it all again. But getting back in the saddle, part of the reason why I'm doing this as well, just to force myself to create content and do something to get my mind going and keep it ticking along and keep myself motivated. So those 2 books and hopefully more to come. And this channel as well. This channel's come together very quickly. We just started it in August, and already we've 26 episodes of the HORRORific tales and all little daily episodes, which are just little snippets to keep people entertained in the HORRORific talk spot where we do our live stream. Starting off not having a clue about live streaming, and actually now we're getting the rhythm and getting the technology sorted, and we can push the boundaries even further, and just it's becoming fun now rather than a challenge, which is always good. It's one thing learning stuff, but you want to get past that bit to actually concentrate on enjoying and creating the content. Number 3, do you struggle with social media? Absolutely. Anyone has heard me rant, I absolutely hate it. I hate what it's become. I've been on the internet since the early 90s, and yes, it was a place for weirdos and all sorts of strange individuals, and you get your eyes open very quickly. How somebody can be when they can have the anonymity of hiding behind a keyboard and saying and doing whatever they want, and creepy people out there. It doesn't just happen to women. There's just generally creepy, scary individuals out there that have no place in society, but find a home here. But social media, I really struggle at. I hate the nastiness behind it. I hate the mob mentality behind certain things. And these people aren't doing it for any right cause. They're just looking for an excuse to bully the next person and show their power. And it's all across the board. And it's not one thing, it'll be something else. And it's just a never-ending cycle. So I really struggle with that. And also, people can't seem to have conversations. Even recently, one thing that struck me, I made a post about a movie, Terrifier 2, being postponed because of the whole lockdown and everything else. I was disappointed. I enjoyed the first one. Now, somebody's like, well, it wasn't for me, that's fine. No. That's not the way it goes. That was fucking shit. How dare you? Blah, blah, blah. And people just instantly go to that level. And you're like, if this was on the street, and somebody did that, you could be planted, you'd be put in your face, very quickly. So, where do these people get off? Just opening salvos like that over a nothing. Saying you like a movie is a nothing. Let's be honest. Or saying you don't like a movie is a nothing compared to real life and what's actually important. Like things like that, just they don't matter. But people on social media just live their whole life like that. And so I really struggle to actually take part in that. I don't want to, and it just takes me out. Obviously, because I promote other people's work, I have an obligation to try and get this channel to grow, get it out there, because somebody's entrusted their stories, we perform them, and obviously we want to try and get that artist out there as much as possible and hopefully generate them sales. So to do that, the way you do it online is through social media. It just takes that one flipping idiot to start over something nonsensical, and I just turtleneck straight in, and I can't go on for a day or two. I'm just like, nope, done. So yeah, it's a real struggle. It's something I have to fight with. Cameron, the co-host, he won't even touch it with a barge pole. I asked him, are you gonna help me do this? He's like, nope, not gonna, no interest, sorry. I was like, okay, fair enough, I understand where you're coming from. So yeah, he's even more disgusted than I am with the whole thing. He's just like, nah. And even for his business, he's like, if it wasn't for that, I'd delete all my accounts, you'd never hear from me again. It's like, yep, I can hear that. If it wasn't for friends and family dotted all over the globe, I'd probably do the same. But like I was saying, I have an obligation as well because of the nature of this show. It's not just me sitting here like this, going on about things and getting my word views. It involves other people, and when you reach out to other people and you have them essentially provide you with what they have worked on, then you have an obligation to do it. So that's kind of how I justified myself going on to social media and trying to engage with people, because it really is a struggle. Now, not everybody, lucky enough, I found one or two groups where it's not like that and quite well regulated, but that's one or two out of hundreds of like shitty groups that are full of absolute lunatics. But there you go, it is what it is. I don't see it changing anytime soon. Like even if the current mob is running the place change and have a different focus, they'll still be those type of people. That's just how they live their life. So I try to avoid it, don't get into anything that I don't need to, and just focus on actually what I intend to do, which is promote authors and independent creators. Number 4. Which content creator inspires you the most? I'll have to be Cameron and Adam, two buddies. So obviously Cameron goes to the show. He also has a podcast, Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy looking Nerf herders. Any Star Wars fans out there, get on that there. And friend Adam, who runs a channel called 9 Cents. Topical discussions in religion, so quite interesting. Both of them do like Adam does weekly shows, has guests, interviews, different formats. Does a daily vlog for members. Cameron's those two work together on the other channel as well. They do twice monthly discussions and do reactions, you know, to games and movies coming out and TV series. So they kind of have a lot wrapped together. Yeah, working with those guys, and we've done a lot of work together over the years. Just seeing like their friendship as well as ours, you know, together when they're working together and how they put stuff together makes me want to be better, if that makes sense. So they always, you know, inspire me if I ever feel like not doing this, or if I want also honest opinions. They're my go-tos because they don't beat about the bush. So I don't set the rest of the world, you know what I mean? If I want a dose of reality, they're my go-tos as well. The reason why they inspire me and I respect them. What frustrates you most, excuse me, about other content creators? I'll kind of split this into two parts. In terms of content creation, people that do bad sound editing really takes me out of it. I think as well because I've worked with podcasts and sound effects, and I know what it's like from when I started, and it was awful. The honing my craft and taking that time and effort. If somebody, because my ears tuned into those kind of mistakes, somebody that does that in bad editing really takes me out of it. Particularly background music. One thing that bugs me is if somebody has a bit of background music and it stops and starts and it's too loud. So there's people that play background music and it's really, really loud compared to their speaking or what they're putting on, and then it'll just cut off and then it'll restart up again, so they don't loop it properly. Yeah, I just know exactly what's went wrong and how easy it is to fix it, so that really takes me out of it. In terms of personalities, I hate people that go out of their way to provoke others for absolutely no reason. How to describe it, you know, the baiters, the bullies. I don't like bullies. I don't like, I don't know what they're trying to do. They'll troll people, or they'll put out stuff without thinking it through or researching it. You know, whatever the current trend is, the jump on the bandwagon, and it's usually picking on somebody or a movie or a franchise. I'm a bit hit and miss with reactors, reaction videos. Some of them enjoy, and then you kind of see a pattern that if somebody reacts to one video, all the channels reacted at the same time. Or then, you know, I'm a massive Iron Maiden fan, and you see reacts to Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, for example, and all of a sudden all these videos stop popping up because the reactors are watching the other reactors, and then they're looking for what's trending, and then they jump on that bandwagon. So they come across as they don't actually genuinely have like a vested interest in what they're looking at. They're just doing it to get likes and shares, and I don't like that. I don't like sort of trite material without any content or any depth to it. That's just me. So yeah, those type of people, I can't even name them because I don't even watch it. You know, I kind of know what to say. I get the first impressions within a couple of minutes, and then I'm like, I'm out, and then usually don't recommend the channel and ignore it. What frustrates you most about your own content? First and foremost, if I have to read from a script, I try to avoid doing it because I come across as very robotic. I've noticed that when I'm, you know, every time I do an episode, there's certain things I have to say. If I put it out into a script, it just, to me, I look back at myself and I just feel awful doing it. It's something I'm trying to work at getting over, but I've always great respect for those that can do a topical conversation and read from their script and look natural doing it. I kind of lose a lot of energy because I don't know, I think it's with the camera, because obviously when I'm doing audio, I'm different, I can relax, But when I feel like I have to stare at this thing in front of me and read, it's difficult. And also try to memorize, word for word. I try to go with bullet points now, so I can keep that natural flow, and you actually hear me as opposed to some monotone robot, just going blah blah blah. I wish I could get better at that, because honestly, I think it's limited me in what I can produce, especially in terms of review movies every month. And if I was to just sit and read everything off a script, it would just sound awful in the live streams. I do take notes. I do have, comprehensive and improved format, and you probably notice I look back and across to the other monitor and keeping tabs. That's a good thing about having a camera, because at least I can bounce off him, he'll give a point, I can quickly look at the notes and then be ready for the next point, so that makes it easier. But on my own, sitting like this, I'm not that good at it, and it really frustrates me because I want to be better. It's all about making the best content possible, and you don't want to be mediocre. You don't want to just put out stuff for the sake of it. You want to try and do your best. Even this current podcast, from the very beginning of it, there's even been a progression since. Talking about graphics, I have to rely a lot, because I'm not a good drawer and I'm not an animator. I have to kind of research and buy images and try and put it together, and that's been a learning process as well. I would love to actually just be able to animate my own stuff. That would be amazing. I'd be able to do so much, like animated figures going along with stories. And I don't know if you remember the old shadow puppetry, originated from China and Japan, all that kind of stuff, to tell a narrated story and you have shadow. I'd love to do something like that. Just something interesting to catch the eye. As you notice, for the later episodes, we do have animations. Goes in the background, just to give, if you're on YouTube, gives you something a bit more interesting to watch as the story's going along. But to me, it's still limited. I'd love to just take you into the world, if that makes sense, of the particular story, and that's purely my own skills that frustrates me that I don't have them. And hopefully, as it's all about a balancing act. I could take 3 years out, try and learn all that stuff, but then I'm not producing content, and I'm a vocational person rather than academic, so if I'm learning something, I need to apply it. So what I hope you do see from us is a progress as I learn more techniques and ways to bring things better, present things better. I hope you see it and see the progression as well, and come along. This is as much a journey for me as it is for you guys watching, so hope you enjoy the end product. How do you motivate yourself to keep going? Part of the reason doing this video actually is because this month, as I said at the start, has really kicked my arse. January, it's dark, it's bleak. The lockdowns, we're not allowed to. You go out once a day. You have to be careful as well, because the way the police are acting over here, they're acting like absolute idiots. So they're looking for any small infringement and overreacting, and most people behave with common sense. So to be draconian with them, just to me, is nonsensical. It just force equals resistance. The more you push, the more people push back. So don't get it. Yeah, if somebody's taking a piss, yeah, have at it. But when you see armed police officers turn up to the gym, you're like, yeah, it's a bit much. No need for that. And obviously, if you're American, you won't understand British, but yeah, it's a completely different ballgame over here. So, for example, doing a video like this, it doesn't fit into my normal content, and it's just an opportunity to maybe talk some of this out. So, doing a video like that's a bit off the cuff kind of motivates me, gets me sitting in front of this. I'm going to have the edit and put it out there, advertise, so that's forcing me, I'm in front of the computer creating content. I just put together another episode, it's getting scheduled for the beginning of March. So because I knew I was going to do this, that's kind of pushed me to keep going. The daily videos I do, they're purely just a bit of fun, and I kind of enjoy doing them. They're really short, but it gives me an idea to research into a topic and just put something out there. rather than, you know, forcing yourself and, you know, trying to beat a dead horse or force people to get more content or, you know, lose that pace. It's good to do something different, kind of refreshes the palate and brings you back in, you know, back in the zone again. Interacting, you know, I'm interacting with a few booktubers and that, and it's been quite positive. Some people are kindly reviewing my book, which I appreciate. And whatever they think of it, good or bad, you know, might be their cup of tea, but I'm appreciative of the fact they're taking it and having to look over it. So things like that just keep me going, you know, just those little positive interactions. A few people, you know, that when I get positive comments, people looking at, you know, looking at videos and getting something from it. When I actually see one of the authors that were featured happy because they featured their work, you know, and they're sharing the episode and they're over the moon that we've done something positive for them and helps them out, that gives me gratification. It's something worthwhile. It's not an ego thing, because I'm somebody who's perfectly happy in my own company, in my own world, and I don't need getting pats in the head, if that makes sense. But it is also good to know that what you do is actually worthwhile, and the effort you're spending into something is actually achieving a goal, or, you know, putting something out there. So that's what keeps me going. I'm not afraid to walk away from something, so in the end, if this reaches a natural peak, I have no problem ending the channel and then thinking of something else. So I'm not that emotionally invested to, yes, a proudest project, I want it to work, but knowing that it's not everything also keeps you going as well. So you don't, it doesn't own you. You own it. It doesn't own you. So I can live without it. I'll always be a creator now that I've been doing this nearly 10 years now in various forms. It's good, you know, it's something that's going to be part of me. I'll always do it in some shape or form. So this does not own me while I'm still proud of it, if that makes sense. I know it's a bit convoluted, but yeah. Hopefully that, kind of, sort of makes sense. Yeah, sorry, brain's going now. So I haven't really talked for 20 minutes on the go, but there you go. Hope this was informative and useful and maybe a little bit entertaining. And I would like to thank some people. Get this ball rolling. So first of all, like I said, Cameron, my buddy and co-host, I'd like to tag him and the Infernal Brotherhood of the Scruffy looking Nerf herders. I'll put the channel descriptions and the channel links in the description. Fuck, I can nearly talk on that. Channel links in the description. There you go. Makes sense. I'd like to also tag Adam from 9 Cents, Nikki from Dark Between Pages, John from Books of Blood, and Lydia from Typical Books Horror Fiction. Those last three couple of guys that have been really supportive of the channel, really encouraging me as well, bringing me into the sort of booktuber community, which this technically isn't, but it is at the same time because it's reviewing authors and, you know, trying to promote their work. So we do it in a slightly different way, but it's just nice to be welcomed into a fold and people actually encouraging you to continue making content. So hopefully those guys will want to take part and maybe get something out of it too. If you know anyone that might be interested in this, please share the video, get it around. Let's see how many people can get on board and maybe hear some interesting stories. Until then, folks, keep it creepy, keep it horrific.